simple, really funny and entertaining. But
I regretted doing that. That's a verb plus a gerund. You don't regret to do something that's stupid. Okay, you regret doing. All right. But thank you for helping me to remember this. Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to Learn English with Teachify. Whoop whoop!
hello.
Hello, Mickey. What's going on with your screen? How are you?
I'm good. I'm just using the gestures. I don't know how it's quite like how it's done, but it's something that I like to use sometimes in meetings just to make a light of the situation. And I am well, and I'm going to repeat a word that you guys don't like because I mentioned it in a couple of podcasts ago when I said I was a little bit poorly, and I wasn't talking about money. I was talking about how I'm feeling. I feel a little bit sick. So yeah, and it's funny because in that podcast, it's like I never get sick, and since then I've been sick twice. But other than that, I'm all right. I am, just getting on with it, just cracking out the work.
It sounds like you're feeling sorry for yourself.
Do you know what I am like? I'm the worst person when I'm sick. I'm the worst person to be around because I'm just like, oh, I feel sick, and I just keep repeating it, and whoever's around me just has to hear me say that for about 2 days.
Mommy,
Yeah,
I'm poorly.
yeah, that's about it. Anyway, Will, how are you?
I'm great.
You this time because normally me and Lewis have a little chat, and then you're just sitting there waiting for us to say, "Will, how are you?"
I'm quite happy listening to you guys, to be honest. But yeah, I'm great. I always say this: I don't get sick, and then when I do get sick, I'm exactly like you, and I whinge and I
Yeah,
complain. Whinge is a good word to constantly complain, and
yeah.
yeah, and my poor girlfriend has to listen to me for a good day or two, and then all of a sudden I'm better, and then I'm like I was never sick, and I just didn't everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
still
get
never
that.
had COVID.
Yeah. I mean, COVID doesn't exist. We've all spoken about this. We know that it never
Oh
existed,
no.
never happened.
You know what's going to happen now? We've started this YouTube podcast. It's going to get flagged now because we said that word and the
We're gonna
content
get
will probably be removed.
demonetized.
You can't cancel me. I'm not a gym membership.
Oh dear. So good to know that Mickey, you're a little bit poorly. Will, you're on top of the world, better than ever. No whinging and whining here. Nice verb, you mentioned it. To whinge is like to complain in a kind of childish way, an annoying way. And you could also say to whine. And this sounds exactly the same as the drink wine, but it's written slightly differently because we
Is
have,
it?
yes, it is. It's spelled Whine. So the H is silent. So you're whinging and whining. But no whinging or whining today, because we're going to be speaking all about gerund and the infinitive with to. And oh, yeah, I know. Will, you're so excited, aren't you? You're buzzing.
There is nothing I like more in an English class to say plus gerund. Okay, that is my bread and butter. That's what I do best is explain gerund plus gerund. Yeah, I'm happy.
You just spend all class just literally waiting for the opportunity to be like, just so you know, guys.
To be honest, I sometimes stop them from speaking. I go, well, actually, no. Let me teach this first, okay? And then we can, right?
Is this like, like teachers have their go-to grammar points that they love to teach, especially with new students because everything is new for them? Is this like your go-to with a new student who comes in to learn English?
It's my go-to with advanced students with the so a preposition plus object plus gerund. For example, instead or in spite of him going, or in spite of him wanting to go to the cinema, he went blah blah blah. This is my go. Sorry, I told you I will not shut up about this. Anyway,
Once you
Lewis,
get started, there's no stopping you.
Proper geek, this one.
I thought your go-to grammar point was the conditionals, but maybe not.
that's B1. B1 is conditionals. B2, inverted conditionals. Then C1 and above, preposition object gerund.
Wow.
That's it. He's got 3 tricks up his sleeve. That's all you need to know.
That is it. Yeah, I'm good for one class.
I talking about this, I'm also, when I used to teach, I was the same. Like my first two classes with any new students were probably the best classes that they had ever received in their life. And it just went downhill from there. I just got worse and worse because I had no more tricks up my sleeve.
You raise their expectations to the roof, and then you were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so guys, see you later."
Literally, they're just free falling out of the sky with like nothing nothing to learn.
After a few classes, you're like, guys, we should probably review that first class, right?
Repetition is key.
That's true.
Okay, anyway, let's bring it together. Let's compose ourselves. And as I was saying, today we're going to be going over gerund and infinitive with two just in conversation. So we're going to ask each other some conversational questions, and each one before has a verb that is always followed by either a gerund or the infinitive with two. And it's tricky. That's why you need to keep paying attention until the end, because there's no real generic rule. We just need to learn verb by verb. So let me kick off and get started with the verb enjoy. And enjoy is always followed by ing. So, Mickey, tell me, do you enjoy reading books or watching films more?
You know what? I knew you were going to ask me that question. And I would love to say to you and to all the listeners that I love reading books or I enjoy. Hang on, let's use the terminologies that we're trying to practice here. That I enjoy reading books more than I enjoy watching films. But the reality is, I like a good film and I like a good series. I do try to read. I'm quite a consistent reader, and I have been for the last probably year and a half, where I probably spend maybe 2 to 3 hours a week, I would say, reading, which is quite good. But if you say to me, what do you want to do? Do you want to watch a film or do you want to read a book? I'm definitely going to say, let's watch a film because I enjoy watching films.
Perfect. I like the little the little expression there. I enjoy watching films.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to drill home that the ding, the ing at the end.
Awesome. Good. Yeah, I agree 100%. Now, Mickey, choose a question. Ask Will.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Will one. I mean, this is one I think is going to be right up Will's street. Okay. We can review some of these extra vocabulary that's been coming out towards the end. Have you ever promised to help someone and regretted it later? And can you give an example of when that's happened?
Well, first of all, I just want to.
I don't help anyone.
I don't help anyone. Yeah, there is something I regret definitely doing, but I don't really want to say it on YouTube. So let me think of another one time.
You've made me curious now. Like what?
Yeah, I know. What could
Yeah,
it
you
be?
guys know it.
Oh, maybe the listeners can guess and leave a comment of what you think Will regretted doing. That would be quite funny to read afterwards.
I'm trying. Oh yes, I tell you what. I was asked by a friend who was English, and he was getting married in Cáceres to a Spanish girl. And her family spoke Spanish and no English, and obviously him and his family only speak English. And in English, we have a tradition of doing speeches at a wedding. And he asked me to be a real-time translator for him and his father's speech at the wedding. And I mean, he knows, but I have quite a big anxiety problem, which is definitely made much worse from like big events, when you get nervous for things. So in the end, I had to go to this wedding with about 250 people in Cáceres, stand up there with a microphone, and as they were saying things in English, I had to translate to Spanish, and then there were some jokes or whatever. And he must have drunk about 3 bottles of wine just to calm the nerves before the actual thing. And I couldn't eat anything all day, just drinking alcohol. And then as soon as I finished, I was like, okay, food. But I regretted that a lot. That was absolutely horrible. So yeah.
That is an amazing story, Will. But what I would just like to highlight is the fact that you haven't used the grammar that we're trying to focus on today. Basically, the story's beautiful, really funny and entertaining, but
I regretted doing that. That's a verb plus a gerund. You don't regret to do something. That's stupid. Okay, you regret doing. All right. But thank you for helping me to remember this. Okay.
There
that's
we
the
go. There we
one.
go.
Hey.
Round
Come
of
on, firework!
applause.
Yeah, but
So,
yeah, thank you for the story. Yeah.
so that was to regret plus ing. And regret is a tricky one because you can also use regret with to and the infinitive, but they have different meanings. So I could say, for example, Will, I regret to inform you that you
Oh,
are in debt, for example. So
okay. Well,
regret to is like saying sorry almost. It's like I'm sorry to tell you. I regret to inform you. Whereas regret with ing is actually speaking about regrets, about things that you wish you hadn't done. Will regrets translating for his friend.
I do. I do.
That's good. Well, why
Yeah.
don't you ask Lewis a question?
I will ask Lewis a question. You're such a good teacher, Lewis. There's
Thank
me
you.
saying that regret plus infinitive is stupid, and you just bring out an exam. I'm like, oh no. All right. Anyway, I can get. Ooh, how
Ooh.
do you? Yeah. Oh no. This one. Let me change. I'm changing the question slightly. Is there anything you can't stand doing? I really like this verb. I can't stand blah 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 doing something because I use it a lot. So Lewis,
Yeah,
you're more.
thank you for asking me. If you can't stand doing something, it means that you can't tolerate it. You hate it. You can't put up with it. And this actually reminds me of the last podcast that we did because we recorded a couple of weeks ago and we spoke all about cleaning. And my girlfriend's
Oh yeah.
aunt actually she messaged my girlfriend and was like, "Oh, I just watched the video. I didn't know Lewis was so dirty."
That's brilliant.
That's really
So
funny.
Nuria, if you're watching this, I see you. But no, related to that, I guess I could say that I can't stand ironing because
Oh, Lewis.
I don't really see the point in ironing. I can't stand doing it. I don't like it. Why would I want to do it? It's boring. So
Oh,
yeah, I'm not a fan.
ironing is like meditation to me. Honestly, that 5 minutes a day when you iron a shirt, albeit at the moment, I don't really iron shirts because I'm just like in a bit of a beach wearing t-shirt mode at the moment. But if I have a meeting, an important meeting, clients, always iron a shirt, and I love it. And it kind of mentally prepares me for that meeting.
I mean, we're so different. But yeah, I can't
Like chalk and
stand
cheese.
exactly. We're like chalk and cheese. We're completely different in this way. But yeah, I can't stand ironing, and I also, as you know, can't stand doing paperwork.
Yeah, I mean that I am fully aware of
Oh,
that one.
oh, it's horrible. It's a nightmare. It is the bane of my life.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
you are the pain in my neck, Lewis. That's what you are. When it comes to paperwork, Lewis is so unorganized, it's ridiculous.
and that's why Mickey
It's
needs
actually a
to do
talent you have.
ironing to calm him down. But no, that's what I can't stand doing. It's out there. And Nuria, like I said, I hope you enjoy that. Okay, now let's do another couple. Mickey, this is going to you, of course. Let me have a think. Hmm. Okay, an interesting question. I know you just said you live by the beach at the moment. You live near Malaga. Why did you choose to move to Malaga?
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, I chose to move. Just going to repeat that so everybody's listening. I chose to move to
Or you
Malaga.
decided to move also?
Or I decided to move to Malaga just because I've always liked this area. Like I love Spain. I've always loved Andalusia. I feel like in general, Andalusia is my favorite area of Spain. I know Will is not a huge fan of Andalusia, in particular Seville. So for any of you Sevillian listeners out there, feel free to attack Will with some comments. But I've always felt quite at home here for some reason. And it's funny because my dad's visiting at the moment. He's having a siesta. Well, I say siesta, it's like 6 o'clock now. He's basically gone to sleep.
He'll wake up in the morning now.
Yeah. And I was saying to him the other day how like I feel happy when I'm in Andalusia, and this was an area near Malaga which I've always liked, and I come down to visit quite a lot. So I decided to move here and base myself here on a more permanent basis. That's the reason.
Fact. Good. And for people who are interested in knowing why Will doesn't like Andalusia, Will?
Why is that, Will? Would you like to tell? Actually, why don't we let Will tell everyone?
I don't know what you're talking about. That's crazy to me. What I love about Andalusia is what the name is walk, Lucia. Walk. Yeah. And that's great. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good comeback. I like it.
Here's what I will say. Sevilla is a really cool city. You know?
It's in temperature wise, or like cool as in
it's cool. You know, whatever you think about that word, it's cool. It's a cool place, you know.
Okay, very good. I'm going to ask a question because I feel like this podcast could take a turn for the worse. We can all see how much Will loves Andalusia. So, Will, I'm going to ask you another question, which is, I mean, that's a bit of a boring one, but an interesting one. Do you prefer drinking tea or coffee? Do you drink tea? Because I don't really drink tea, and everybody thinks that English people drink tea all the time, but I personally never drink tea. I don't know about you guys. So what do you prefer drinking?
Okay, I'm glad you asked me this, actually, because this is important. And I was going to mention this even if you didn't ask me this question. Okay. First of all, I drink coffee religiously, black coffee with no milk. The problem is I have tea in my house, but I don't enjoy black tea. So I need tea with milk. And because I never have milk in my house, I never drink tea in Spain. But when I go to England, my dad is always like, do you want a cup of tea? I'm always like, yeah. So I drink a lot of tea in England, but none in Spain. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
I was confused because you genuinely seemed very enthusiastic and excited to give this answer. And then you were explaining it. I was like, wow, really interesting, Will.
Hey, I'm just, now you know the truth. Okay. If someone comes to my house and they're like, oh, do you have tea? I'll say, I do, but there's no milk. So it's not good. It's really
what do you prefer? What do you prefer drinking other than tea or coffee? Like, what's your go-to in that sense?
Sparkling water.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are not listening correctly. I'm trying to be a little bit of a teacher here. I lack a bit of experience these days, but I'm trying to elicit from Will the target vocabulary. So by me asking him what he prefers drinking, I'm hoping that he would say, I prefer drinking sparkling water. Just so you're all aware that we're trying to use the target vocabulary during this recording.
Well, thank you for helping me to practice the target language. I don't know why I chose to ignore you.
Okay.
But I've made a decision and I have decided to respond to your question. I prefer drinking sparkling water. I enjoy drinking sparkling water.
Okay, nice.
Love drinking sparkling water.
Thanks for
that. Fantastic. Okay,
move on.
Very interesting. I think we should go over some other verbs as well that are followed by ing or the infinitive, ones that we haven't already covered. So, for example, Will, after the verb avoid, is it ing or infinitive?
Ing, gerund. I avoid doing something.
Wonderful.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Mickey.
Don't ask me. Set myself up here, haven't
I? Teacher.
Such a teacher. Eliciting. Oh my. That word.
You don't even know what elicit means.
I do. It's a type of bike. Okay. Okay, Mickey, after the verb to suggest, do you use the gerund or the infinitive?
I mean, can I take a 50-50?
Yeah.
I mean, it is actually 50-50. Can I phone a friend?
Go on.
To suggest Gerund is followed by ing.
Sorry, what? Was it followed by?
Gerund.
Thank you.
Mickey, could you give us an example sentence, please?
Yeah. So I suggest speaking to your manager about your holiday coming up, for example.
Perfect. And Mickey, one more.
Oh, have I got one more in here? Where are we? I'm not going to lie, I've lost track of where we were. Okay, let's
Take your pick.
do look forward to.
I'm so happy you asked me this because this one is such a common mistake.
Oh yeah.
Look forward to is to be excited about something, but we also use it at the end of an email to show that you're being polite and you are expecting the other person to respond. And
You
it is
hope.
always with ing, a gerund. So I'm looking forward to going for a run. I'm looking forward to having dinner. And I'm not looking forward to ironing.
Very good. Easy.
Crazy.
Good. We should call it a day. That's plenty, more than enough, because Will needs to go get a cup of tea, I think.
Coffee. Did you not listen to me? I mean, that's great.
Awesome. So thank you everybody for watching, for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, to like this video. And if you have any comments, any questions for us, please do not hesitate to write them in the chat.
Very good. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.